Today we're talking of a potential local tap of meme coins. We will also check out several opinions on this marketplace. We will also understand where liquidity is coming from into our meme coins at this stage, because retail is not here. And we will also talk about two low cap plays that I think can actually pull out something like Sigma if conditions will be there. And they should be there. I will explain this to you. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. You don't want to miss this content. Just in the last several days, I gave you Alpha 8x. I gave you Stoic, also about 8x. I gave you Autism, very, very low, and it should go further. My low cap Ethereum meme coins are short. They are pumping up as well. Subscribe to this channel. This is the only channel that actually shares alpha with you, not using you as exit liquidity. Without further ado, let's start. We'll start with the tweet from Miles. I think the Murad coins like SPX, Giga, Popcat, Mork are probably going much higher. Why? When retail comes back into this space, they're going to gravitate towards the loudest and most compelling figures plus narratives. A similar thing happened to gaming coins with Becker and Elliott trades last cycle. But the outlandish price targets movement associated with this meme craze probably makes the bubble even bigger. This will result in prices pushing even higher, further strengthening Murad's coin mindshare and the overall narrative. It becomes an unstoppable reflexive flywheel of momentum, until eventually, like all bubbles, it pops. But in interim, there are huge gains to be made. I do honestly think that short term we should be topping. That short term we should actually add SPX600, SPX500. I do honestly think that short term we should be topping. And I mentioned to you in the videos, I think yesterday and before yesterday, I said to you, I think we will have last pump. I think you should be selling on this pump. And I think from there we are going lower because there is no retail in the marketplace currently. It's just next evolution of PvP. This is the hype of one influencer. 8th inning. You know, you have 8 innings in probably baseball, like who the fuck cares, right? This is the last 8th inning from my point of view, is something we're seeing currently. And we all have to understand where this capital is coming from. This capital is coming from the fact that the guy used to run a VC fund, so he knows how to talk to VCs. And essentially the presentation, yeah, like I do like the presentation. I honestly love what Murad did to this space because he attracted like a bunch of liquidity into this space. But we all have to understand where this liquidity coming from and why something like this is happening currently. And is there like, what is the amount of this liquidity that's coming into the market? I would say that currently people are just capitulating from alts into memes, or people who were selling the memes, they're buying back. But we don't have a lot of retail coming currently. And even with us seeing new all-time highs this month, I believe that by the time we would be seeing new all-time highs this month, which should be happening like in two to 3 weeks time frame, right? These coins, they might not hype already, because hype essentially sustains on the fact that there were people that were able to buy here, right? I'm sorry, not here, but at the bottom, at certain $1 million market cap, $20 million, and it's dying out already. Like if you're entering at 800, like people were buying and entering at 800 million. Who do you think buys here? What do they expect? What do they expect when they're entering this at $800 million market cap, right? So this is just one thought that I wanted to share. I do think that a lot of the peaks are topping. However, there will be a liquidity rotation into other peaks as well, because people, they need this profit. They need someone to follow currently in the marketplace because they're pussies and they're scared shitless. And you have to understand this, and you have just to play on this. This is a typical part of the cycle. Usually when we are recovering and we are reversing, what happens is coins that are being pushed by some person like who's doxed, they are pumping because people are pussies and you can play on it. So you don't even have to think like what will pump first, what will pump second. You just follow what pushes will follow, and you make money and you take money from these pushes, because you have to pay in the market if you are a scared little bitch, right? So APU, we see liquidity rotation in APU, right? And we're at a very, very interesting point of time in APU, because this is where essentially Giga were. This is where SPX it was not here, like Sigma was here as well, because the continuation of this thing might be just us going higher. Will we go to $700 million market cap on APU? Short term, I don't think so. Should we print a new all-time high for 500 million? We actually might. This will require larger liquidity rotation from SPX. But what you have to understand is that currently everything is green. Currently it's still pumping. Currently people still don't understand that they're being led into slaughterhouse. However, once one thing will start to correct, right, and some liquidity, it will essentially get rotated to up. But already a negative overview will be created around the whole situation. And people will be sitting in negative profits. They will start to whine. So currently I'm honestly seeing like a peak of euphoria because everything is still green, everything is still right. We just started to reverse back on SPX, right? You have to understand these things. Will we go higher from here? Well, thing I can connect mostly to SPX run is bread run this cycle, right? And bread run was happening in way better market conditions, and there were definitely more retail in the marketplace at that stage. So there were bears capitulating because they missed the run and they were buying into meme coins. And I think something like this has happened currently, and it's happening currently. And retail was coming back, but not like default retail. It was retail who was in crypto at some point of time, and they were coming back. If we will be able to see something like this month, but unfortunately, I do think the timing is not there. And in case of bread, since Steam was controlling most of the supply, they definitely had time to wait. They did not care much about timings, perspective, because they controlled the supply. They can pump whenever the fuck they want to pump, right? And with SPX, probably the situation is not at the same level, probably with supply controllage and things like that, which probably like once it leaves the meta, I do think that there will be eventual reposition of liquidity into other coins on the list, and then we will go into consolidation. Long term, I think it might do well. Like Murad is saying it's a 1 year hold, I think it might, right? But after this run up, nothing goes up like crazy. We're not in that market conditions. You have to understand, we're not speaking about PvE. It's not about PvE. It's pretty much about evolution of PvP. This is a very, very nice, a very, very smart evolution of PvP. I've been deeply involved in crypto 24/7 for over 7 years now. Meme coins are, in my opinion, the worst thing to happen to this space ever. For the first time, I can genuinely understand why outsiders view this industry with so much skepticism. And for the first time, I don't feel the same passion and excitement for it that I used to. Meme coins is partly the reactionary answer to low float high FDV launches. Guys, I'm constantly thinking that I'm not getting too much credit, right? Because everything that's happening on the marketplace, everything that these people are talking about, I said this to you in December of 2023. And no one the fuck cares. Even with Max from Bitcoin, he was coming, he was saying the same thing that I was saying. And no one cared about me, right? And everyone cared about Max. And the same thing is happening currently. The thesis is being adopted overall on the marketplace. And I was talking about this thesis since December 2023, and no one fucking gives a shit about me, right? It's just crazy. Probably I should have been showing a bit more results. I should have played this thing a bit better. Like I was right with the narrative. But the way I played the whole thing, yeah, that's definitely not the professional level, I would say. If I would have a bit more experience, I would definitely play it a bit better. And they would probably have more results, and then probably more people would essentially be listening to me, right? But this is just a side take. It's a signal that the market is broken and is not working anymore for the average retail. Yes, meme coins are stupid, but it's helping the market heal by showing that even stupid coins are more attractive than extractive VC tokens. Don't worry, the market will change in the future. It always evolves and utility tokens will come back to fashion. I'm seeing this take with utility tokens coming back to fashion, and it's like a psyop, right? So I'm seeing it and I start to believe it and I start to position into them and nothing is happening pretty much. So I would say that they might come back into fashion when memes will top, but what is constantly happening, you have to understand, altcoins, they're being sold to buy into memes. And we kind of had this all season with Sui pumping, right? And then we came back. The reason I'm showing this take is because this is the mid-curving thought that all of the market participants that are still in altcoins have. And you don't have to be incorrect about the market. most of the market is still sitting in altcoins. Like we are now a meme coin bubble, right? Meme coin bubble, I do believe it's only like maybe 5 to 7% of all the liquidity of the marketplace. Do you like imagine? Can you actually imagine how much money still sit in altcoins at this stage? This is just crazy. I agree with that, and I definitely see that point. Also, not saying low float VC inside the launches are the answer. It's just frustrating to see that productive assets that are building life-changing tech are neglected over dog and cat coins. The issue with that is because no one gives a shit about technology this cycle, and everyone gives a shit about product market fit. The only product market fit this cycle thus far is meme coins. You might say that prediction markets like are somewhere around that, but the only proper product market fit this cycle thus far are meme coins. Meme coins aren't fair either. It's an insider game of whales and whales eventually dumping on retail. Partially yes, but still, like even with Mudang, they were just default guys, and they were sharing on Twitter like, I've been in this space like for 4 years. I just had like 15k to my name, and now I have $1 million because I put like 8k into Mudang. So there is still the option to make it big for retail and meme coins, right? And there is no option to make it big for retail in altcoins. Like it's not happening, right? It's not happening at this stage. It's just crazy. Coming back to Murad token list, what we have to notice here is that we essentially SPX pumped heavily already. Mock, I think it's too heavy, like to pump heavily. APU is pumping. I think APU might be the next thing to rotate liquidity in. Ticker Bitcoin is pumping as well along with Popcat, and Giga pumped as well. I do think that we are due a rotation to Retarder. I do think that Retarder should actually be running next. And chart of Retarder kind of looks nice. So this is the chart of Giga, right? What you have to understand, what happened with Giga, right? We went from like $200 million to 400, so like 2.5x. It did not make anyone rich, only the current holders, right? What did make people rich is actually holding Sigma, because we had this beautiful consolidation. At the bottoms, you did have an option to buy Sigma at $4 million. Obviously, this is the exact bottom, and I think there is a very, very small amount of people that bought Sigma at these levels. Average probably should be like maybe 10 million, like 10 million I think is right, like 10 million on average for the holder of Sigma, right? And they did, and well, they did not do the 20x from 10 million till 80 million. They essentially did 8x in the money, right? Which is quite nice in the current market. Like I gave you alpha, and you also were able to make an 8x and 8x, but everyone is screaming about Sigma, so we'll talk about Sigma. This is the chart, right? So you can't see it currently. Like why the fuck I have this line like? So we have this chart, right? And then at this level, it's like the same cap and handle pattern that we see on the most of coins. What I'm trying to say is that whilst the major runner only made the current holders richer, something like Giga, right? It went up like 2x, and it's like VC game, right? It's like VC rigged out. You were not able to make like more than 2x, and you will not be rich like from 2x if you're not entering like with substantial amount of money. And this is a meme coin, so if you enter with substantial amount of money, you essentially will just push the chart up yourself, or you have to accumulate for multiple months, right? So 8x and Sigma alpha from the lows did even more. So this is the third play, right? And if you're following the thought process, what I'm saying is that yes, the main field we will run, but real money are actually based in the beta play. One of the issues with Sigma is the fact that Murad actually called it himself. So this is a strong beta play that got called by Murad, and following the logic that I was sharing, most people are pussies at this stage, right? That's why they need some profit to call things. They can't hold the dicks themselves currently because they're scared shitless of the current market conditions. The feeling from a large dick being present in their assets is still there from being rugged and being liquidated in the summer. It's still there. They're still afraid shitless. They still think that, oh wow, it just might be a weekend pump, nothing is happening, I'm so scared. And this is why these assets are going up so much, because there is directed flow of liquidity based on attention. because it removes the scare factor from people, but we will become risk on. And to be honest, to make a lot of money, to actually like be able to capitalize heavily, you need to be brave. You need to be able to buy shitties, even currently, even before, right? Because all these coins, they were shitties. You need to be brave. You need to buy them and you need to hold. My shit, for example, I bought them. I was not able to hold. I overtraded the shit to zero, right? So let's check out the chart of Retardation and let's just compare at this stage. By the way, Nero I was talking about yesterday is pumping like crazy, right? Let's see if my China-US theory will actually be right. But unfortunately, they fucking liquidated me on most of my longs before this pump. And I don't have much in Cable Nero at this stage. Like, it definitely hurts. Like, some mistakes that definitely were made. So, do you remember I was screaming to you, buy into the charts that are either here, right, or here. And this is exactly, guys, we've seen this before. I was showing you this several times. Maybe we already actually printed the candle right here, the handle, I'm sorry, not the candle, the handle. So I do expect from this thing to break out. You can see this chart, we're exactly at the previous all-time highs level, kinda got rejected from there. Following the chart of Giga, of Sigma, they broke up heavily, violently from here. This is something I would expect from it to actually do. This coin is also on Murad's list. We all have to understand, right? And what the market also understands currently is that, yeah, you can make some money in the alpha play, but better play will do better. However, we are also at the mercy of the alpha play at this stage, because if this thing won't run, if most people will also have this mindset, well, I won't be buying into the alpha play because I'm just pumping the bags of the current holders, and like the best I would do is a 2x, but I'm taking a risk on. Well, it's I would say a risk currently in Retarder is actually like, Retarder is probably close to free money at this stage. And historically, when I was saying these things, they were not ending up well. All right. However, I said that Nero is free money, and it's really like free money. I think, yeah, it's just craziest narrative of this cycle. And all these metas, like all these like 10 coins, 9 coins from Murad's list, they're not retail. They're not retail focused. They're U focused. They're PvP focused. They're not retail focused. Nero is retail focused. These things, they're not retail focused. And as mentioned, the only retail focused meme is USA. Here, and USA is fucking dead. It's not moving because they understand. They understand retail is not fucking common. They are not positioning for retail 1 year before. They are positioning PvP metas to take your fucking money and then to position into retail. It will be actually quite smart for someone who made a bunch of money on SPX to buy into Nero. Like, just sell off all of your SPX now. Buy Nero. You can buy Chinese Cable Nero. It's already at 900 million market cap. Binance will definitely push it further, and you won this cycle already. You don't have to do anything else, right? You just don't have to do anything else. These things, they're PvP, they're not PvE, right? Coming back to our retarders. So the market understands currently, I think, probably like not a large percentage of the market, right, that this thing, you buy into it, yeah, we might do like a breakout. It's kind of safe, right? You might do like a 2x. It will probably move higher, because you have to understand that the upside for other coins in the list, it becomes lower and lower and lower and lower. And this thing, like with Retardo, is a bit hard as well, because usually it's pumping closer to the like risk on type of scenario, right? But with Murad's help, with this prophet who is kind of navigating and focusing the ship and tells the ship, buy this is safe, I think it should do well, right? So we already figured out that real money will be made in better place to the main runner. I was showing and I was sharing one of them already, one of the better plays of Retardo, which is Autism. Today I will share the second one as well. Autism did have a nice run yesterday, 24 hours time frame, pretty much a 2x on a daily, and around 2-3x from 11th of October. So yeah, you might say it's almost a 3x. So maybe for some time it will need to consolidate currently. The overview here is essentially the same as with Sigma and Giga. The only issue is that this thing is not on the Murad's list, right? The chart is exactly the same. So you can see that all of these charts, they essentially look the same. We are facing certain resistance currently in this liquidity area. We'll see how it will play out. With retarded pumping, this thing should be pumping as well, but we are at the mercy of the larger peak out there. And I do expect from one of these things to honestly have similar type of run to essentially Sigma out there. The second thing is PSYP, which is also called a better play to retard as well. Some big people are starting to push it as well, right? So because they essentially understand what's about to happen. Upside on the coins from the list is getting exhausted at this stage, which means that people will be pushing into coins that didn't pump much yet. Probably retarded. Maybe there is an issue of why people are not buying to this thing, because like it's really crypto focused. Like you can't say, like you can't just like, if there is a list and someone is calling it PvE and there is a retarded on the list, like it's not PvE, it's pure PvP. Retarded this thing when you wrap a bunch of retail, you take the money, and then you essentially fuck out, like you brag as a retarder, right? Because you were able to rob this money from retail. You pretty much were able to make some money off Memecoins. So this is like a pure, this is like a top of the PvP cult out there. It's not PvE, and people outside of crypto like retarder, it's kind of hard. Like even these metas, they're similar to Pepe. You have to understand this. It's all like a lot of this is like black humor and like very specific industry things, industry focused things. They're not PvE. Like default, like even SPX6900. 6900, like some people would consider it like as some type of like sexual humor, black humor, you know, these type of things. I'm talking about normies, like the girl who was only using Instagram in all her life, like normie type of women, right? What they will be buying? SPX6900 with all the like Asian girls graphics, like 2D with all the art, or will they be buying into Nero, which is a Dogecoin sister, right? So we all have to understand these things. This is my thought process at this stage, and I'm just sharing this. I'm just sharing that I do think this is just another evolution of PvP, and I'm willing to bet on essentially Memecoins losing its upside. No one is going to buy them at $800 million market cap, only people who are fucked in the head, all right? And it will go back into something that is not there yet in retardia. And the only thing I think will essentially save the current situation is the huge pump currently short term and huge inflow of retail. And despite the fact that I do expect new all-time high from BTC this month, I don't think that current meta will sustain with the same coins. I think that something else might be coming into play, because it's not about the meta. It's about upside for the current investors of the marketplace. If they see the upside, they invest the capital. If not, they're not doing that. I doubt people see upside in buying tens of millions of dollars backs of the current holders of these things out there, right? So this is my overview. We also have emoji meta running up like crazy. There is this Memecoin magnet that appeared yesterday, right? And it jumped to $15 million market cap. And just to counter this thought process of these people that essentially are screaming about how Memecoins are bad, the guy bought $3,616. He already sold $120,000, and he has $170,000 unrealized, and he's still the top holder. All of this happened in less than 24 hours. The question I have, are your altcoins have the option to do that? Do they have the option to change someone's life like this in less than 24 hours? $3,600 were invested. $3,600. Well, let's hope that it's not an insider, right? Let's hope it's not an insider. Let's hope it's just default market participants. that made it today, and we have to be happy for this guy. Thank you very much for watching this video on the channel, only channel that actually shares alpha with you and not using you as exit liquidity. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Stay healthy and rich.